Hello, everybody. Tobias here. Waiting for a little bit for people to show up, but what I wanted to do first off, right from the beginning, is thank everyone out there for being here, and also thank everyone for being here for the last 5 or so years. Because thanks to all your support over the years, I have finally cracked the 10,000 mark on YouTube. And I'm kind of happy with the way that I did it because I have done this without any kind of real sponsors or anything. And that kind of makes me happy. YouTube has all sorts of things that tell you what you're supposed to do in order to gain customers and all this other stuff. And well, that's not the way I was going. Thank you, Mimo. Uh, my idea is I was just going to do what I like to do, show what I want to show, um, and be happy with what I was showing. My goal was not necessarily to uh, sell anything to anybody. Hi, Timberwolf Ben. Thank you for joining me. Uh, it's one of these things where what I wanted to do is talk about traditional pattern knives. I know there's other people out there who do that. Um, and I appreciate that there's other people out there doing that, because if other people weren't talking about traditional pattern knives, then I would assume that there's really not an audience for this at all. And my goal, it was to share my love for the traditional pattern knives. Yeah, grandpa knives. Well, you know what? I'm kind of an old guy, so why wouldn't I like those? It's not that I have anything against modern folders, because, well, I carry a Spyderco Dragonfly. I think everyone is aware of that. I mean, I carry that daily. Unfortunately, it's not with me right now. Otherwise, I'd show it to you because, well, I'm in a different room. It's upstairs, and I actually don't walk around all the time with a knife in my pocket, especially when I'm at home. I don't need to. There's so many knives around, it's easy enough to find one. But anyway, so if someone were to say, call me out for right now for a pocket dump, all I could really pull out is a bunch of dryer lint, because I don't have a knife in my pocket right now. But as you can see, I've got quite a few on the table, and there's quite a few more over here that are out of the way. uh, I'm a grandpa and I never had kids of my own. Well, you've had plenty of cats, so you're a cat grandpa there, Williams Knife Life. And I really do appreciate all that you're doing for the cats in your area. You're right about like I mentioned, I think also, if you get rid of all the cats in the area, then you're going to be overrun with coyotes or raccoons or possums. Which would you rather have, cats or those? If you want to talk about disease, and if you get rid of all the rats and all the other things, or all the cats and all the other things that eat rats, what are you going to end up with? Yeah, rats. Do you want rats all over the place? You're better off with cats eating them. And the other thing is feral cats are not responsible for like the death of songbirds and things of that nature, because the feral cats, I think the odds of a cat catching a bird, even like a pigeon or something on the ground, is like 1 in 24 if it's a feral cat. However, a house cat that's an indoor outdoor cat, it has the odds of catching a bird like 1 in 10. I can believe it. Shadow also is well fed by a lot of people. So, but still, the odds of them getting one is like 1 in 10. They're not the ones responsible for it. More birds are killed by actually flying into buildings and stuff. Hi, Dave. Thanks for dropping by. Any case, what I was really going to talk about today, beyond thanking everybody for helping me hit 10K, was also talk a little bit about the philosophy behind the channel. Like I mentioned, I'm really a traditional pattern guy. I do have some um, modern folders. Most of the modern folders I have are low price budget kind of modern folders. I even have an on again, off again series on that I call Craptical or Tactical, which is where I talk about Thank you, William. Where I talk about if this inexpensive modern folder is worth the money or not. And if it isn't worth the money, then I refer to it as a craptical. If it's actually worth the 10, 15 bucks you're paying for, then it's your typical practical tactical knife that is just low priced. And Yeah, it's going to be a lower quality steel than the latest super steel. But mostly what I talk about are traditional pattern knives. If you've been around the channel for a while, you've probably seen a couple different uh, odd things show up, especially on Friday. There's this guy named Skip, and he's in the Volcano Club. He does Fun Knife Fridays, and Fun Knife Fridays actually. Thank you, Gizmo. Fun Knife Friday was an outgrowth of actually what started as Skip the Show. Skip the Show did an interview of me, Tobias, a long time ago, and that was based on one of these things where they ask 40 questions of you, and so Skip did this interview of 40 questions of Tobias, asking all sorts of different questions, which had nothing to do with knives. In any case, that led to Skip, who was supposed to be a washed up disc jockey from California. That's what he started life as. He's basically just a washed up guy who never quite hit his peak. Tried his luck in movies and failed at that. Failed as a shock jock back in the 80s and 90s, and ended up basically going from place to place. And now he's running basically a dive known as the Volcano Club, and that's his high mark in his life. And I introduced Skip to knives, and from there, he kind of started coming up with his expert knowledge of knives. Yeah, expert knowledge. Like, why does did Davy Crockett call his knife a Bowie knife? Also, I mean, think about it. They both probably had a big, humongous knife, but did Davy Crockett call his knife a Bowie knife? Probably not. But in any case, that's where Skip is coming from. And then and really what Skip was for the longest time was a commercial. It was like Knife Chats with Tobias is brought to you by Skip the Show's Volcano Club. And then it turned into Fun Knife Friday. And the other thing that you often will see is the Don't Get Eaten by a Bear Foundation will have a commercial, or sometimes they'll actually have his own program too. And that again is, for those who don't know, um, Yakima Bob is supposed to have been a a kids TV show from back in the 60s and 70s, and his counterpart, which is a Jackalope Jake, was the puppet that he had on the show. That was the idea. And he had this show called Finding Bigfoot. But in any case, he ends up getting a sponsorship for Don't Get Eaten by a Bear Foundation. They were looking for someone to be a spokesperson. And Yakima Bob, his brain is not all there. He actually thinks Jackalope Jake is a real jackalope. Um, so that's where that comes from. In any case, what they were so-called sponsors of Knife Chats with Tobias. And it was real, the whole purpose of it to begin with was to poke fun of, I'm sure you're all on YouTube, and you'll be watching a YouTube channel, and they'll be talking, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, and by the way, if you're having problems, maybe your problem is you need NordVPN. And then they'll go off and talk about something else for the next 5 minutes. And it's like, what does this have to do with guns, knives, or whatever program you were talking about? And that's what Yakima Bob and Skip the Show started off as. It was my poor attempt at poking fun of the people who have these sponsorships inside their programs. You'll see it like on a lot of it is like for um, different. Well, I can't even think of them. A lot of them are like learning a language or something like that. And it's like, well, if I were to have a sponsor for the program, what kind of sponsor would I want? And a lot of people do have sponsors, and they make sense. You know, they're like if this was a knife show, to have something like Knife Magazine as a sponsor would make sense. But so often, the sponsor that these places have has nothing to do with the product that they're selling or discussing. And that's where these came in at. And I thought, if I do it, I should at least try and make it entertaining, so that when you get interrupted by something like Yakima Bob or something, it would be fun. And that's how they came about. So for those folks who have not been here for the last 3 or 4 years, and all of a sudden you see something pop up, and it's this thing about the Don't Get Eaten by a Bear Foundation, that's where it came from. But it has kind of grown its own legs because, well, I think a lot of people kind of enjoy the Don't Get Eaten by a Bear Foundation, especially the sticker. Where's my sticker? Hey, look, I can say Rockin' Monkey. That's where I get all my stickers from. There, look at that, a harmless plug. I wonder if I'll be attacked for that. Where's Don't Get Eaten by a Bear Foundation? Here we go. I think many of you have seen this before, the Don't Get Eaten by a Bear Foundation. And really, I was doodling one day, and it's like, oh, this sounds great. Don't Get Eaten by a Bear Foundation. Then it's like, what kind of sticker or what kind of uh, artwork should be on there for that? And it's like the perfect idea. Let's draw a teddy bear and then have a guy being eaten by a teddy bear. And that's why you see the little rainbow colors on the side and everything else. So this is like something that a child would have drawn for something like the Don't Get Eaten by a Bear Foundation. I just thought, all right, that's good enough. And it went from there. And the Volcano Club, I don't know why it came that way, other than I just know a lot of drink recipes because of a long time ago. And it's like, I can do the Volcano Club, and then I'll throw. And if you notice, when Skip is talking, quite often he will mention like a drink or something, and then there'll be the ingredients of a drink. Those are actual drinks, yeah. Anyway, let's get into knives because that's really what we're here for, right? And I've already yammered for 13 minutes, and I guess everybody left. Um, Up on top, you'll see this one here. This one I showed a long time ago. This is a 5.5 inch 610098 toothpick by WRK Son. This is their large toothpick. They don't make it anymore. They stopped making it a while ago. Um, Rumor had it that these were actually outsourced to Queen Cutlery. I don't know if that's true or not. One of the reasons people said it was outsourced is that when you see the double zeros in the middle of the knife from Case, that is supposed to be a sign that the knife was not actually made by Case, but made somewhere else, or the parts were purchased from somebody else and then Case put them together. I don't know if any of that is true or not, and I suspect it's not, because there's also, where is it at? I don't have one handy, I don't think, but the tiny toothpicks by Case, which they make all the time, it has a double zero in the middle too. So, and I'm going to be talking about that in a upcoming video very soon, because as you can tell, there's two boxes here, and that's because I got another one of these large toothpicks. I'm not going to show it now. It's going to be a surprise in the very near future. But what I do want to show you right now is a few other knives. But before I show them, heard about this on Williams Knife Life. This is those little organizer drawers that you can get at the Dollar Tree for $1.25, or you can buy 3 of them on Amazon for $8. But in any case, I saw that on his channel. It's like, this is going to be perfect for me. They're not that big. They're fine for smaller knives. This knife can almost fit. Well, it can fit this way, I think. Well, let's open it up and see. This is a Rough Rider gunboat. Yeah, it could fit in there too. So it's 5 by 5, I think, and this is 4 3/4. Yeah, 5 inches this way, and I think 4 3/4 a long way. Is that right? Yeah, four. Yeah, something like that. 5 inches by 5.43 inches. But this is a big knife. However, what I thought when I saw these, because I have a bunch of felt from a project from a long time ago when I bought about 3 or 4, closer to about 11 yards of blue velvet. I got some velvet, or felt rather, that I'm cutting to size so that I can put knives in there. And 4 of the knives that I'm going to be putting in this particular drawer. I've got 4 of these now. I'm going to have to buy some more. I saw that you ordered them from somewhere, William. I am going to take a look at that in the chat after this, because I am definitely going to order more of these. I was able to buy 4 of them so far. The problem with Dollar Tree is it's whatever you get. But I'm thinking I'm going to put that in there because this will deaden the sound and keep the knives in a better shape than having them bounce around in the plastic container. But let me tell you about these 4 Rough Riders real quick. I've got 4 of them. I think there was only 4 made. And these are, let's make some noise with that plastic there. These are their knittlers. It's actually a locking canoe whittler is what these are. You see the canoe there, and you have the one blade over on this side, the Spearmaster blade, and that locks. It's in the middle. It has its own lock, a mid-lock going on there. If you notice, there are actually 3 springs on these. Let me see if I can get that to focus a little better. Yeah, I wish they'd come out with these again. This is in the red jig bone. You got the pin blade on the other side, and you also have the coping blade on these knives, and that's why it's a knittler or a canoe whittler. Also have some other knittlers too, but by Rough Rider. But I've got 3 of these. There is the red jig bone, and then the amber jig bone. Rough Rider used to make almost every knife in red jig bone or amber jig bone. They stopped doing that, but so there are certain patterns now that are not in red or amber jig bone. And you can see basically when these were done, because this is the propeller shield. I think that's possibly the third, it's either the second or third shield that Rough Rider started using once they started making the knives in China. But all of them are the same though. The build quality is not perfect. One of the biggest problems with these knives is, if you notice right there, when it's closed, the back of the lock is just a little bit proud on there. But you did have it in the, at that time they were calling this the Old Yeller, and you see it. Every one of them is exactly the same. But this is the Old Yeller, and this has the badge shield or the federal shield, whatever way you want to call it. But just wonderful little knives. And it's one of those things I wish they would remake. I've shown these a long time ago, but I thought I'd break them out again. As you can see, they're not that big. They are 3 inches long. But they actually kind of deceive you. You would think it's a bigger knife than this, but it's just 3 inches long. So it's like right in the middle between a full-size 3 5/8 inch canoe and the 2 3/4 inch butterbean or mini canoes that Rough Rider makes. And then the last one was in the Outdoorsman series here. So this one has the acorn shield. And if you look closely at the acorn shield, you will see the RR up in the top portion of the acorn shield. But in any case, I got those 3 or 4 knives. I'm going to put them in one of these. this closes up, and then these are stackable. I did not bring them all here right now, but that's the way I'm going to store it. And like Williams pointed out, when you have them in these clear things, you can actually see what's inside. So these are really cool. I like these, and they're not too big. You know, they're a good size for the knives. So many of them, they're too tall and stuff, but these are just like ideal. So if you're looking at it, I think what they usually say they're for is for like storing makeup and stuff. So you might find them in like other places, but for $1.25, I couldn't find a better deal for something like that. So I am definitely going to be looking for some more. The other thing I wanted to show you today is a knife that I will be reviewing soon, and that is in the box here because it was in a tube. It's a Rough Rider Reserve, the latest one they came out with. I don't buy every Rough Rider Reserve. I learned my lesson on those a while back, but this one, I saw it and it's like, yep, I'm getting that one. I'm getting that one right away. And it's because of what it was and also the price, 30 bucks, $30 for this. And this is your old-fashioned Coke bottle. This is before they decided to put the bump there, so turning it into a copperhead and everything. And you know, you've got the red jig bone. It's got the bomb shield going on there. And if you notice, it is a locking knife. It's got the mid lock going on there. That is something also that was pointed out. You know, I often will call this a lockback, and technically it is a lock on the back of the knife, but then there's also the knives that have the lock all the way in the back, like a buck 110. And a lot of people say, no, that's a lockback. And it's like, well, yes and no. I always think of it, if it's somewhere on the back, it's a lockback because the lock is somewhere on the spine. So more appropriate to call this a mid lock, and the one on the back, a back lock. And the closed length, I'm getting to it in just a second because it is a monster of a knife. You can see it right there. It's about 5 1/4 or 5 3/8, something like that, about 5 1/4 inches long. Notice the nice flat um, end here. It's definitely squared off. You know, it is recessed though. It isn't flush. It does have, yeah, it does have a half stop. Did not pop to it, but it doesn't matter because of the back, the mid lock here, and then pops into place. You got the nice long pull there. Wonderful grind, nice D2 blade steel going on, and it's a nice hollow grind. And is that just not a monster of a knife? And overall length of it is like 10 inches. And this, my friends, is what I think of when I hear Coke bottle, which is interesting because the pattern itself goes back even with a lock. A mid-lock version of this knife was around as early as like 1830, 1840, way before Coca-Cola came into existence. I think Coca-Cola came in around 1868, something like that. So the knives were around before Coca-Cola, and these knives were not always called Coca-Cola. They were not always called a Coke bottle knife, rather. What they were originally called was, they had two different names, actually three. The most common is a swell center. That's what this was, a swell center jack. Um, and that was the, you know, the technical name for it because it swells at the center and then it drops down. But the names that were going around for them before they became a Coke bottle was a fiddleback, because as you can see, kind of shaped like a fiddle. And the other name for it was a beaver tail because you have the big flat part there. You know, you got it there, kind of like a beaver tail, kind of an extended beaver tail. Before I go on, I want to go grab another Coke bottle that I have that is also an older one. This one's by Colonial. Got to walk over and grab it though. So take a sip of water in the meantime. So where, oh Okay, now this one is from the 1930s or so, and it was by Colonial. But you can see the resemblance, and you can also see that this Coke bottle is bigger, bigger than the Colonial from the 1930s. This is a monster sized knife. Like I said, about 5 3/8 inches or so, as opposed to this one, which comes in right at 5 inches, which is about what most people think of with a Coke bottle. So this is bigger than the Colonial knife that I have had for some time now. But the Colonial is also pretty cool because, as you can see, you got that clip blade going on here. Here's the Colonial tang stamp for those who know more about them. And the cool thing is, this is actually a fish knife. And you got the fish remover, fish scale remover. So they actually told you what it was. So at that time, maybe everyone didn't know. Who started the Coke bottle pattern? I don't know. They, like I said, they go back to 1830s and stuff. They were probably being made in Sheffield, England originally and shipped over here. But got the hook remover and everything else on there, and the fish scaler and the bottle opener. But like I said, this knife is from like the 1930s and such. And I love the mottled green and black celluloid on here. Notice it's I think that might be nickel silver in the middle there, but the carbon steel back springs and everything going on. Really nice knife, and that's my other Coke bottle that is truly a proper Coke bottle in my opinion. Um, what I'm talking about, I should grab another one too, as long as I'm bashing Coke bottles. Really wasn't thinking about doing this, but there I am. There's it at. This is what they decided to start doing, and I get it. I understand why they do it because you see the blade is kind of exposed there. It's even exposed on this one, but not nearly as bad. So a lot of people decided to put a copperhead kind of top on the Coke bottle. But once you do that, it just doesn't look the same to me as a Coke bottle. You have the swell center, but this is more like to me, it becomes a swell center copperhead more than a Coke bottle. I know it's a Coke bottle, but is it a copper-headed Coke bottle or what? They just call it a Coke bottle, but to me, it just doesn't have the same flair, especially when open. I know a lot of people like it this way. A lot of people prefer them as such. But for me, I don't mind this. I don't think it catches in the pocket nearly as much as people make it sound like. Uh, I get it. A lot of people just don't like it kind of sticking up like that. But for me, I'm kind of old fashioned. I like my Coke bottles with just the regular top. I'm not crazy about the that part, the bump there. The bump kind of it's distracting to me. Anyway, that's just me though, not everybody. Um, this is probably one of my more favorite Rough Rider Reserve knives, and like I said, 30 bucks on that. That is a really good price for a Rough Rider Reserve. It's kind of like they did that with the uh, uh, they did what was I going to say? Oh, the price of the doctor's knife was also like around 30 bucks. So they have some low priced Rough Rider Reserve knives now. I think this one, if it's still in stock, became a low priced Rough Rider knife or Rough Rider Reserve. And it's because it's just, this was like, to me, it was an epic fail because of the idea of putting the bottle opener in the top there. And also, it's just not at all comfortable trying to use this pin blade. I said that they should just leave it without the pin blade. And, well, I think a lot of people know what this turned into, but it wasn't turned into a knife at Rough Rider Reserves. It was turned in with another company. Uh, in any case, I think a lot of people know what knife I'm talking about. And it's interesting because when this came out, I made complaints about it and said what this knife really deserves is just to be a single bladed knife, even if it's a Warncliffe blade, and just get rid of the bottle opener. And but the handle shape was great. That's what I liked about it. Anyway, that is this was to me the epic fail of the Rough Rider Reserve knives. The knives the here's one. This was a really good one. This was their little what was this called? The it's a some kind of half hawk. Well, not a half hawk, but can't remember the name of it, but it's their little hawk bill. And this is a really good one. I like that one. But what I got all of were the sunfish knives. This one started off as the rhino toe. This one I do not recommend because it's too easy to get up onto the Warncliffe blade. There's nothing to stop you from hitting it. And when you have the other blade, this little pin blade, same thing. The Warncliffe blade almost pushes your hand into the pin blade. So oh, the Hawkeye, yeah. This was the Hawkeye. Thank you. This one, I don't trust this one to use, but I got it because, well, it's a sunfish. The hippo toe, this one, I think this is based off of a knife that, um, who is it? Russell, is it? I'm trying to think of. Someone out there knows who did this one. The rhino toe, though, this one is, this is the hippo toe. And this one's it makes a little more sense, but I'm not crazy about the squared off blade, this sheep foot on this knife. I really like a pin blade on these knives. This can't think of who actually came out with it first. Somebody out there knows who did this one first, though. And then this is probably another one of my favorites out of there. This is their basic Barlow, and this is what I wish Rough Rider would do with all of their Barlows: square off the cap. They love that rounded Barlow top, and as much as I like the Rough Rider Barlows, I would much rather have it. I would much rather have it with a squared off top, like they have on the Rough Rider Reserve line. This one is really nice with the pin blade. Well, not pin blade, but Spearmaster blade. This is a really nice one. As you know, or maybe you don't know, most of the Rough Rider Reserve knives come in D2, which is an all right steel, but they make it sound like it's something new. Even back in the early 2000s or 1990s, late 1990s, when Queen was doing everything in D2, they were trying to make it sound like it was some kind of new special steel when actually D2 steel is a semi-stainless steel. It's not truly carbon steel. It's not truly stainless. It's right on the cusp. So it is very much resistant to rust, but it will rust. And D2 steel was actually developed during World War II for aircraft, for the undercarriage of aircrafts. That's where D2 came from. So it is a pretty good steel, but it is nothing new. It's been around for a good 70, 80 years. Here's this is I showed this before. This is the Queen Cutlery Barlow. I'm not sure I grabbed that one. Probably because I wanted to compare it to this Barlow. Yeah, about the same size. This one's narrow, though. I like this Barlow, though. And especially that it was in stag. Anyway, what else was I going to show? Oh, a few knives that are going to be showing up on the channel soon. I got a couple 30th anniversary knives. I think some people have already seen this one. This is going to be on the channel very soon. The Teardrop, and this is the other one that I have already picked up, the Little Cub Lockback. this I love these knives, the little cup lockbacks. So I'm going to be showing those in a two for Tuesday very soon. And what else was I going to talk about here? I mentioned these. Oh, got these. Some people are going to be the teardrop is really a nice knife, William. I got to tell you, I saw that one and it's like, man, I got to have that one. These I grabbed again. This is the what is it? The RR 137. I picked up a couple of these. I'm going to pick up a few more of them. Might pick up even more than what I was first anticipating on getting because these are in the little white smooth bone, and this is one of the earliest Rough Rider knives I ever picked up. They're not perfect by any means, but it is just such a cool little knife. 3 inches closed, 5 inches overall. You got the little finger choil right there. And this is one of those knives that I'm going to be throwing into the giveaways, the upcoming giveaways that I do. And for those who don't know the way the giveaway works, I do not tell you that I'm doing a giveaway when I'm doing the giveaway. The only way you'll know that there's a giveaway is you'll see a picture of Gordon a Whistle Pig, which is a groundhog in a top hat holding a knife, and he's going to tell you the instructions for how to do the giveaway. And it'll be usually 3 lines, a little haiku that will explain how it's done. And also there'll be instructions on how quickly you need to leave your response by. And the response is never something like, type in the word Rough Rider. It isn't something like that. It's usually something of a more personal nature, like, tell me, your favorite knife brand, or what knife are you carrying today? Something like that, that will be in there with specific instructions that says, do not tell anybody that there's a giveaway going on. And what happens is you don't even know that unless you were watching the entire video and saw Gordon a Whistle Pig show up, GAW, see Gordon a Whistle Pig giveaway. Gaw. That's why his name is what it is. In any case, unless you saw him, responded, you don't know that there's a giveaway going on. The purpose of that is so that the bots are not going to be picking it up and everything else. And if you and what happens is I announce who the winner is a week or so later, and that's when you know that there was a giveaway. I never announce a giveaway when the giveaway is happening. And typically, the interesting thing is the number of people who respond tends to be low. Part of it might be that some people are just not interested in doing the giveaway. But if the folks who have been entering will tell you right now that the clue is not hard to follow. It really is something as simple as, tell me a knife brand, something of that nature. And then all you have to do, and it's like, tell me a knife brand, put it in as the 10th word of a sentence or something like that. And I actually go through and I read all of the reviews or all the comments, and I look to see where that is. And say, let's say your knife brand was something like Cold Steel, or something. I'm trying to think of a knife brand that is more than one word. If it's more than one word, or let's say it's I'm asking for a pattern of a knife, and your pattern is like Coke bottle, and you're putting in as 2 words. I'm not going to worry about that as long as part of the pattern or the name of the company or something like that is covering the area where the one word is supposed to be. You're entered. That's all it takes. And that's why you see some of these, if you read through the comments, you'll see comments. It's like, why is this person mentioning, case, or why is this person mentioning buck or something? This knife had nothing to do with it. And it's because, well, they saw the clue that there's a giveaway going on. And I'm hoping that the responses continue and that I start getting more. But so far, it's been like 4 people, 7 people, and that's okay by me. And also, I do not use the random comment generator because I can't with this. Usually, it's going to be I'm going to be pulling a name out of a hat. What I've done in the past is I've used a deck of cards. I've used dollar coins. I've done all sorts of things to pick who the winner is. But anyways, that's what I do with the giveaways, and I like it that way. I have more fun doing it that way. The people who have responded have also said that they enjoy doing it this way, and usually the giveaways will have one, and you don't know what you're going to win until I actually announce the winner. If you can go back and look at how that is done, and the people who have one can tell you that this is like this would be one of the giveaway knives that I would be doing, but you might not even see that listed as the giveaway knife. This is just one of those extra things I throw in the box. There'll be one major knife in the giveaway that is the real product of the giveaway, and then there'll be stickers and all sorts of other stuff in there. Um, and I'm trying to do one a month. We'll see if I can continue to do that. I'm telling you right now, this video is not the giveaway. I can tell you that right now. Um, I already the one in February actually happened on Groundhog's Day, which made sense because of Gordon A. Whistlepig. For those who don't know, a whistlepig is a name for a groundhog. In any case, that's where it came from. And no one celebrates Groundhog Day, so I thought I'd have to find a way to celebrate Groundhog's Day. And I came up with a giveaway. And, this is a Groundhog's Day is when you should, as a knife nut, give a knife to somebody else. That's my thought of Groundhog's Day. At least once a year on Groundhog's Day, you should give somebody a knife. I just think that's a cool idea. One other thing I'm going to talk about before I leave, and that is the trapper. Yeah, and for a reason. And first, I got to go grab the trapper. Oh, let's see. Where's the trapper? Here's a trapper. And where's the trapper? Hope you're still there. There's a trapper. Here's a trapper. And there's a trapper. If you're in the on my website or on my YouTube channel a while back, I posted a question about case trappers specifically. That if you're a person who is collecting, a comprehensive collection of knives by W.R. Case and Son, should you also have a trapper in the collection, a number 54 standard trapper in the collection? And surprisingly, the bulk of the people in the responses said that no, you don't really necessarily need one. You should just collect what you want. And I'm kind of at a mix on here. I do not own a case trapper. Uh, it is not a pattern I necessarily. It is not a pattern that I necessarily collect. This is the only standard trapper I have. It was made by Remington. Actually, it was made by Camillus for Remington. Has a pack of wood handles on it, and this is not a knife I bought. I did not buy this knife. This was a knife given to me. And it's a really nice trapper. I really don't have a problem with trappers. You can see there, it says Remington on there. This is, I have plenty of Chinese-made trappers, but I don't have any American-made trappers. And the Chinese-made trappers I have are because I was filling in a collection, like the white smoothbone collection. I don't even have a trapper in the tortoiseshell yet. I got to do that, but and this is the first in the field. Notice how there's something on both blades. Something that Case does with all their commemoratives. They like to put something on two blades. This is one of the world's greatest knives for billboarding. Any case, I actually posted something about how that's all Case does with these things, and that's why it's such a bestseller, is because all they do is it's just a commemorative. And I guess I had misstated that uh, all the commemorative knives out there are all made in, are all on trapper frames and stuff like that. And someone took me literally with that, that if it's a commemorative knife, it had to have been made on a trapper. Well, obviously that's not true, because Franklin Mint is notorious for making commemorative knives, and they don't make them on a trapper frame. But we do know that the bulk of the trappers out there that Case makes, like their Christmas trapper and everything else, are, if Case is making a commemorative, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a trapper. And you see that with other channels too. Now, I do have other USA-made trapper knives, or so-called trapper knives, like this. This is a jumbo, and by Queen, USA made again. And this was also gifted to me. Someone gave this to me, and it's a really nice knife, but not a 54 pattern trapper. The one I was talking about by Case. And then I also have this one. This is by Camillus again. And this is obviously on a trapper frame, but this is the bartender trapper. See, it says so right there, bartender trapper. And it has the little bottle opener and a little pin blade there. So that's my other USA made trapper. I think I might have, well, this was not a trapper. This is actually the knife that Camillus called a trapper. Not the same, right? But this is what Camillus actually originally called their trapper before they started making a 54 pattern style trapper. This was the Camillus trapper. And it is the same as what other people now call a jumbo trapper. And you can see here, this was for Smoky Mountain, and it was a commemorative for them. Oddly, yeah, there we go. Notice, wonderful billboarding on both blades. That's what you do with a commemorative trapper. Any case, my thought when I was talking about the whole idea of the Case trapper is, if you're making a comprehensive collection of Case knives, do you need a trapper in there? And strangely, I actually do feel that you should have a Case trapper if you're going to have a comprehensive collection of Case knives, because it is their best seller. And, if you're really trying to create that comprehensive collection, even if it's not the pattern you want, I think that, yeah, you probably should go ahead and grab one. Does that mean you have a bad collection of knives if you don't have a trapper? Absolutely not. I don't believe that for a second. But it's like when I was making my collection for the Rough Rider Stoneworks collection. There are 3 different trapper knives in the Stoneworks collection, and I mean they're all 4 1/8 inch trappers. It's just different ways the stones are set in there. But because I wanted every Stoneworks knife, I needed to get all 3 of those trappers, even though it is not the pattern that I'm crazy about. So the question then comes with Case, what kind of trapper do you necessarily have to have into the collection in order for you to say, well, you've got a Case trapper with your collection? And that's why I haven't picked one up yet, because I have no idea what trapper I want from Case. My feeling is it will probably either be something in bone stag or an actual genuine India sandbar stag. And those are the more expensive ones. And I'm not really interested in paying that kind of money. And this is not me asking anyone to buy one for me. Please do not. I don't want anyone buying me the Trapper just because I said all this. It's what it is me saying that one of these days I probably will have a Case Trapper, but as it stands right now, I'm having too much fun collecting all sorts of other knives that even though philosophically I think that in order for me to complete my Case Trapper or Case knife collection, I will need to have a Trapper. Well, there's at least another 30 or 40 knives that I feel I need to have before I need a Case Trapper. So I'm not in any hurry to get it. And that's just the way I am about the Trapper. Other people, they buy just about every Case Trapper that comes out, and they are happy doing that. And I am actually happy for them that they do that. When a person, like, it doesn't matter what knife you're trying to buy or something, but if there is a knife that you long for that you are always trying to get, but you're not quite getting it, and then you finally get it, and you mentioned, oh, yeah, I've been looking for whatever knife it is. It might be a Benchmade, it might be a Spyderco, it might be, some Peanut or something like that. That this is a knife that I've always wanted to have, and I finally got it. I'm ecstatic for you. I really am, because I know that feeling because I've done that on many occasions where it's like, this is a knife I really wanted, and I have finally landed it, and I'm happy for it. That's not the feeling I'm going to get when I finally go and buy the Case Trapper that I buy. It's going to be like, okay, I did it. I got the Case Trapper. Here it is. Boom, done. I know what it is. I know what a Trapper's like. This is not a knife that fills me with any kind of joy or anything. It will just be one of those things like, okay, check mark, I got the Trapper. That's not the fun of collecting knives. Now, it's nice to have a comprehensive collection, but is that really what it takes? And I think that's why so many people said, buy what you like. And that's where I'm at. I'm going to buy what I like first and then worry about getting a comprehensive collection. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm coughing. But in any case, that is where I'm at with my collecting. And that's where I am with my 10,000 Ks. So if you're out there thinking that one of these days he's going to show a Trapper, well, I've shown the Trapper, and now you can be happy. But more importantly, I just want you guys to be happy with your collecting and also your time on YouTube. So if this is making you happy, let me know it, and I will do whatever I can to keep going with it. But like so many people say, the real joy in collecting knives is buying what you like and buying what just really brings you some kind of happiness and joy. And then sharing that joy with others. And sometimes the only way you can do that is to get online and show it to other people. And that's what I'm trying to do here. In any case, as you can tell, I'm also choking right now, so I am going to have to let you go. Thank you very much for being here for me, and thank you very much for helping me finally break that 10K mark. I am very happy about that, but really, I'm more interested in moving forward now and continuing to do what I like. You're going to see a lot of sodbusters coming up in the very near future because I am on a sodbuster kick right now. but I will also try and throw in some other knives in between. With that said, though, I am definitely going to have to let you go before I get into another coughing fit. Hi, Jim. You just got here, and I'm just getting ready to leave. And well, stay tuned. You never know when you're going to see Skip and the Volcano Club. And while you're out there, please, please, please don't get eaten by a bear. Because if you get eaten by a bear, you're not going to be on the channel anymore, and I will miss you. With that said, I will definitely let you go. Thank you very much for being here for me, and you know, just have a great week.